What the haters talking about?
The whole so being that it escalated to corporate's involved, risk is involved. I was basically trying to get guidance on what my understanding is basically that anything with the incident is to be discussed with them. So
they say they don't know. They have to talk to you guys. I just need to know the dosage and even the color of the vial top.
So all of that information risk has per the incident report.
Okay, no, they don't, because we've already talked to them, sir. They don't have that because they have a limited incident report. They do not have that. If they had that, I wouldn't be calling the pharmacy. So you're saying that you class included the dosage as well as the color of the vial top.
I'm sorry?
You included the initial dosage that's in the vial as well as the vial color, the top color.
You're saying I included that?
I'm asking you, are you saying to me that in your report, you included the initial dosage that was in the vial itself before any type of dilution was supposed to take place, as well as the color of the top of the vial? That's in your report. That's what you're saying.
So I'm not going to speculate what's in the report since...
Because it's not in there, sir, because we've already inquired about this.
Okay. Justin, so who filled the report? Who filled out the report, Justin? Weren't you in charge of filling out the report?
The pharmacist that oversaw the intern.
Which was who? Pam? Because last night you said that last night you said you took ownership of what happened.
As the pharmacy manager over the pharmacy,
okay.
I take ownership.
Justin, we need the dosage.
I need the dosage of what was given to my child.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I've been instructed that any...
Fuck you, bitch. Hang up the phone, India, because I'm sick of this bullshit. I am so sick of this. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
So you won't tell...
Family, what you just heard was a conversation between the Carroll family, a passionate conversation between the Carroll family and pharmacists at the HEB, where their daughter, Mila, and her cousin, am I right to say her cousin?
Her niece,
Grayson, was given adult doses of COVID-19 booster. I understand that these girls are 5 and 7, am I right?
Yes.
Dr. Carroll happens to be in a really peculiar position of being a doctor. As he said in one of the audio clips that I listened to, he's in a unique position of actually being a person that's in the in healthcare. He is a doctor, and so most families don't have the benefit of having a doctor in their family when things go wrong, who can really ask the right questions. And it seemed like to me like you were asking all the right questions. At what point did you know that was a problem? With your daughter. And also India is in the background also. That India is your daughter and your wife right there next to you, Tara. At what point did you realize that, man, we got a problem here?
Well, the initial problem that I noted was when my daughter called me and told me that they had given our children an overdose. That was the initial problem. But then immediately my granddaughter, who is India's daughter, became lethargic. She couldn't walk. She became immediately almost unresponsive. And that right there put me on high alert, because anytime an overdose occurs, I don't care what type of drug, narcotic, or what have you, especially in the pediatric range, children immediately react to it. And so when she called me, I jumped in the car and I drove as fast as I could across town. I didn't care if I got a ticket or what have you. I was trying to be safe, but my heart was racing because I knew that we only had almost seconds maybe to get to them in order to get them safe, to get them medical attention and medical treatment. So just initially when I heard overdose, I knew we had to do something. And my heart was just racing. And as a trained physician and knowing and have seen so many overdoses, I knew we had to act, and we had to act immediately.
So were they pumped or something?
Go ahead, India.
No. So because we weren't told, so when the girls initially got the vaccine, they let us walk out. Like my dad said, Gracie went lethargic. No one checked on her. No one came out to tell us. When we got the call, it was 2.5 hours after the shot had been given to them. So they were already starting to show different signs, shortness of breath, weakness in their legs. They were already starting to show nausea. They were already starting to show those signs. And so we took them to the emergency room because after the call, they did not tell us, HEB, the pharmacists from HEB did not tell us what was the next step. And so because of my dad and we knew to call, okay, we need to call their doctor's office. And of course it's after hours, but we need to get on the phone with someone to tell us what's next. So they told us you need to get them to the emergency room for an overdosage, because they did not initially tell us what they gave them and what was given. The emergency room had to go off of looks and just vitals, because they said confidently we cannot give them anything because we don't know what they were given. So HEB refused to tell us, as you can hear in some of the audio, they refused to tell us what they gave them.
And brother Willie, I called numerous times because I know that they had to have some type of printed log, some type of printed protocol based on my own experience as a physician and also working with pharmacists on different levels. There had to be some type of documentation saying this is the amount that was given, but nothing was afforded to us. Nobody wanted to offer us any type of dose, how it was administered, just absolutely nothing. No packaging, nothing.
I was told by the store manager, her name is Jennifer, I was told that we can't print anything for you, and if you need to wait until tomorrow. Right. And I said, my child is sick. I need to know how to treat her. You have to give me paperwork. She said, if you feel that badly about it, Mom, then you should leave the store. Yes. And go take them if you feel that badly about it. And what she said was, the pharmacy is closed and the best we can do for you is have someone to call you tomorrow. So why don't you just leave my store? Because I need to get home to my children.
Wow.
The initial call came in to me from the pharmacy manager. His name is Justin Jones. And he was so matter of fact, nonchalant. I believe I believe you came in the store with Grayson Connery and Amila Carroll. I said, I did. I said, I'm Mila Carroll's mom. Grayson is my granddaughter. He said, well, this is the dreaded phone call anyone hates to make. You know, I have children. He went into all of that. And I said, sir, what are you trying to tell me? He said, well, you know, it's what we hate to say. We gave your children an overdose, verbatim. I said, an overdose? He goes, I said, what did you give them? It's between what a child would take and an adult. Never an exact amount. Sir, what do you mean? I don't understand that. It's between what we are supposed to give the children and what we're supposed to give the adult. Well, which did you give? Well, here's a silver lining in all of the overdose we've given them. They'll have more coverage than anyone else.
And you know, that's an absolute.
I looked at the phone and I had to ask him, who in the hell do you think you're talking to? Yeah, the silver lining in all of this?
And you know, that what he said off the top of his head, because there's no research that indicates that an overdose
at all.
As a matter of fact, an overdose could be detrimental. It could be life-threatening. And so no research shows that an extra dose of this COVID-19 booster for the children causes any increase in their immune response. Matter of fact, all the research that's been extrapolated shows that an overdose can be deadly and can cause long-term effects, adverse effects, and all kinds of other drug interactions, especially if they're on other types of medications. And so he was really dismissive to
No
my wife and to
direction.
my daughter.
Do I take them to the emergency room? Well, I mean, you can just watch them. And if you see anything, I have children. So, I would hate to make this call to anyone. And I know if it happened to my kids, I said, sir, this isn't about your children. This is about what you've injected into my children. Well, we're sorry about that, but, just watch them. And again, at least they'll have more coverage than the rest.
Yeah. So I found it very disturbing and very disrespectful listening to them talk. They
Absolutely.
They would not you tell you
no
the amount of dosage that they actually gave the baby.
No.
Very, very just condescending and dismissive, like you said.
Absolutely.
So at any point, did they offer any type of apologies or something? Did they say
No.
like, did you?
No. The pharmacist told me that he said, the only thing I can tell you, I said, you know, as you can hear, we're stressing that we need to know, how did this happen? Why would you let this happen to two beautiful, bright baby girls, my child? And he said, well, I mean, they're here.
Wow. Who?
Yes.
Justin Jones.
Let me just pause for a moment and make a public service announcement. Justin Jones, you need your ass whooped for sure, because that is no way to handle family members, loved ones of a human being that was actually under your care, and you dropped the ball. And from what I'm understanding, sounds like medical malpractice.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it is.
This is something serious, and this is why I'm assuming that you reached out to my good friend, attorney.
Absolutely.
Artie, won't you jump in here and tell us, when you got the call, what was your assessment of this case?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us on here, Willie. And hats off to the parents of both Grayson and Mila. I mean, when they called my office, I could just feel the frustration coming across the phone when I spoke with Miss Swain. I spoke with India first, and as a mother, so not just as an attorney. I handle personal injury cases, but one of the things that makes it special is that I definitely put myself in the place of those individuals that I represent. And I could just feel it coming across the phone when I spoke with Miss Swain first, India first. I spoke with her mother, Tara, next. And then I subsequently spoke with Dr. Carroll. And I just told him, I said, absolutely, we'll take this case. And the fact that, they gave me the details first, disgusted. The first thought that came to my mind was disgusting. The second thought that came to my mind was the book that I talked about on several panels that I'd been on, Medical Apartheid. And one of the quotes that stood out was the fact that it says, of all of the forms of injustice, inequality in healthcare is one of the most shocking and inhumane things that can occur. And that's what we have right now. We don't just have a case of these two young, beautiful girls who have been subjected to, God knows, we don't even know what exactly they were injected with. We have a pharmacist, a careless, lackluster pharmacy. We have HEB, which claims to be a neighborhood store, treating these two young Black girls as if they're just less than animals in a cage. You wouldn't inject two animals in a cage without logging what's been given to them, what are the processes, what are they suffering from. In all honesty, it reminded me of the Tuskegee study. So we had 600 Black men who were injected with syphilis, and they actually just let it play out to see, what were the results. And that's what we have right here. We have a set of great parents who came immediately to the aid to find out. HEB admitted that they had injected these two little girls with an adult dosage. Again, nothing was logged. We have a student intern who administered whatever was injected into these young girls, and we're going to make sure that they're held accountable, and that for those actions, those lackluster, careless responses, I mean, it wouldn't even have to have gotten this far after speaking with these parents. But when you have two young Black girls that they're, again, treated as less than trash, that's at that point, they decided to lawyer up, and that's what we're here for, to take care of that.
They would not answer not one question in regards to what you gave our children.
Correct.
Not one. They dismissed it as though it was nothing.
Correct. And it wasn't until, in all honesty, and I apologize, Ms. Swain, but in all honesty, it wasn't until 4 days later where I sent an emergency message to HEB lawyered up so quick, and I've represented numerous claimants against HEB. Typically, what they do is they go to in-house counsel. In this case, they didn't. They jumped straight over in-house counsel and hired a third-party law firm to represent them out of San Antonio, Texas.
They did.
And it wasn't until I was hired onto the case and I had to contact the attorney directly to almost not threaten, because we will be filing this lawsuit to get all of the information we need. But it wasn't until I reached out to the opposing attorney and said, hey, you need to provide me with what the dosage was that was given to these two young girls. And when I say the most, everything starts with the head, right? And it's a very horrific example of how HEB leads their pharmacy and their organization, because even that attorney, when she returned my phone call, didn't even speak directly to me. She spoke with my secretary, left the dosage, and then got off the phone. So
ridiculous.
This, it trickles from the head down, and anybody out there, do not get injected at HEB until some kind of answer as far as why this happened, and they're held responsible for what they did to these two little girls.
Yeah, they literally shut us down as parents. We were not allowed to make any phone calls to find out what you injected into our children.
And no one.
Go ahead, India.
And just to piggyback off of Ms. Jones, no one, not even Friday afterwards, not even standing in the store, no one said, are they okay?
No one.
Where are your babies? Where are your children? Are they okay? Are they breathing? Are they living? Are they okay? No one said that. That attorney told me on the phone, don't call them. They won't answer any questions. Would you like for me to mail you a letter?
This lets me know that this is not a one-off.
Correct.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
A part of their culture. It seems like
absolutely.
Culture, because when you listen to the pharmacist talk, and he's condescending and dismissive, and then you feel, well, he's a pharmacist, he probably, we'll dismiss that, he got a lot to lose, he's directly involved. So let me just talk to the attorney, who's supposed to be more objective and see things both ways. And the attorney gets on the phone, and the attorney
she's dismissive.
Is as dismissive and condescending.
Absolutely. The culture. That's the culture there.
So it makes one wonder how many more. How many more Milas are out there?
I asked that question because I asked that because I wanted to know how we got here.
Yes.
I needed to understand, how was this possible? You are to entrust, I am to entrust you to give my child something in the middle of a pandemic to keep her safe, to keep my sister safe. I asked, how is this a possible thing? The pharmacist said, I don't know. I said, what is your success rate here? Do you do this all the time? What is your take rates for this? What does this pharmacy look like? Are you just giving people things and you're not logging them? You're not. He said, that's irrelevant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this really makes you wonder how many more Milas and Graces.
Absolutely.
Like I'm willing to bet
that there are.
I'm willing to bet after this story gets out, I'll do everything in my power to make sure it happens. And I know I'm going to say
Thank you.
my other friends in the media to make sure this thing gets out. I'm willing to bet that people will come out of the woodworks and say, happened to me.
Yes, yes.
And I want to know how many people in our culture, because to be dismissed and immediately the power of a parent, you know, there's a certain power that as a mom I hold for my child. I am superhero. I am to stand in front. I am to protect at all times. For that power to be sucked out because I entrusted someone with my baby. To be told she doesn't matter. You have to wait. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, nor do we care. How many more mothers have sat in my position and said, because the guilt and the worry that I feel is overwhelming.
Yes.
It's overwhelming as a mother. I am tainted. I am traumatized because for someone who believes in vaccines and understands medicine and trusts medicine, my trust has been broken and shattered.
Here we are.
And I don't have it. I don't have it. I had to take my child to a doctor and I was sweating from nervousness because what are you going to do to her? What are you going to do to her? What are you going to do?
Is it going to be a shot? They're asking.
They're traumatized. My baby is asking, why don't I feel well? What's wrong with me? I can't answer that.
Yeah, she asked, why would they do that to us? My 7-year-old asked me, Mom, why would they do that to us? What do you tell your kid?
That makes it even difficult for me because I've always, and my wife and my daughter will tell you, I've always advocated vaccinations.
Absolutely.
Because of the studies that I've done, my research, my education, I've advocated that. And now I have to deal with trying to rebuild that type of thought process, that trust that they once had, now they don't have. And that's difficult. It's been a real stress. It's been a strain. And as a father, I'm angry.
Absolutely.
I'm so angry that they would do something like that.
And
you know, even when the attorney called, I guess she thought I was just another black man. Because immediately, Willie, she started being condescending. And I had to just almost throw rank against her or throw my education. I said, well, hold on just a second, lady.
Yeah.
I get it. You're being an attorney. I said, but you're not talking to some Joe Blow. In order for me to get a decent conversation, I had to pretty much throw out my credentials just to get a decent conversation from her. And I know she was whatever other color or race or what, I could hear it in her voice, but I shouldn't have had to do that because I'm not even that type of person. Most people just call me by my first name, but I had to go there with her and with the pharmacist because if I had not, I wouldn't have gone, we would not have gotten as far as we got. The little that we did get, we wouldn't have gotten that. They would have totally dismissed us, and we would have been sent out the door. Excuse me for being so emotional, but you know, I'm just really angry. I'm just so angry to have experienced such condescension, and I'm going to even borderline say racism because I know that would not have happened if I was some other race, creed, color, nationality, or what have you. But we know why it happened, you know, and we know why we were just dismissed so easily. And, you know, personally, I don't feel like, even though I know this is the reality, I've been there, done this before, as far as having to pull out every credential that I have in the closet just to get one or two answers, which is just still a drop in the bucket of a plethora of answers that are still not answered, that are still not given to us. We still have so many questions
that are unanswered. Children that are showing symptoms from runny noses. They wake up one day with rashes. They'll go away. The rashes will come back. They're lethargic. They're tired.
You got vomiting, diarrhea.
Activities at school today that they were so excited to participate. And then we got there and they couldn't. It was a fun run. Our children literally could not. It wasn't an entire track. It was half of a track, a third of a track. They couldn't even do it. But this is what we have to look at and watch. And all we get is you have to watch them. This is new. These studies were determined, and the dosages, as Pfizer explained to us, all of the studies that we have done, these injections are specifically catered to children. So now you got children who received an adult dosage. So now what? As parents, now what?
Now what, Audia? Now what?
Now we move forward and we file the lawsuit. There's nothing else that's left for us to do. There's not much to talk about. They've already showed their hand time and time again. Yes. They had no respect for little Grayson. They had absolutely no respect for little Mila. They showed that in their actions when they administered whatever medication that they injected into those two little girls. They showed it moving forward when the parents came forward. Like I said, very thorough parents, like many parents out there. Again, like they said, if it would have, if it would have been two little white girls, I don't believe we'd be on here having to bring national attention to this story that could have been so easily just addressed right there in the store. From the information that they refused to give so the little girls could get adequate treatment. The ER doctor needed to know how much dosing that they were given. What were they given? The pediatrician yesterday needed to know how much dosage they were given. The parents reached out to the CDC. They reached out to Pfizer. They reached out to doctors. I mean, they literally went through every single block that you could check as parents. There is nothing that these parents could have done that they did not do. They did everything. And now I told them, they're only focused to make sure those little girls get better. We have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old who are in an age group where they cannot express their emotions. They can't really tell, hey, this is what's going on, Mom, Dad. This is how I'm suffering. This is where it hurts. All they know is that they're irritable. They can't smell. They can't taste. They're not eating. They're not getting out of bed till hours after they've normally gotten out of bed. 5 years old, 7 years old, they're up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
And the parents are telling me that they're not getting out of the bed till 1 and 2 in the afternoon. And that is a huge issue. And then to be a parent and have to sleep in a house where the CDC and all of the doctors are telling you, hey, we have absolutely no idea what you guys should expect from this overdose, and to have to go to sleep or try and get some small semblance of sleep, knowing that these two little girls may or may not be breathing when you wake up in the morning, that is I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that. And then to be those little girls where your body is going through so many different ups and downs, going through a roller coaster of different changes, and their parents, who, like they said, are the superheroes, can't really explain why they were treated as less than animals, less than guinea pigs that they test on. And so our next step will absolutely be to file a lawsuit. And whereas they didn't want to give answers before, it will be a court order for them to provide the answers that we need. But again, the fact that we even have to go to this step and go through discovery and require them to turn over the information that they should have freely given is absolutely disgusting. I'm disgusted with HEB. And to be honest, you control where you spend your money, and that's who you give your power to for dinner. I didn't go to HEB. I went to Central Market simply because my clients had to deal with this. And it's disgusting. But our next step will be absolutely to file a lawsuit against HEB and also the clinic if it is a separate entity.
We don't know how this experience is going to affect the girls' social life down the line. We don't know how it's going to affect their reproduction.
No. We don't.
As many doctors, and like Attorney Audia said, as many doctors in Pfizer, to be on the phone with the manufacturer of the vaccine. To be on the phone with them and CDC and their hearing, and for the Pfizer representative to come back to me and tell me, my resources for you are limited because we put out so much. We put out training, we put out protocols, we put out guidelines, we put out literature, we put out all kinds of things for pharmacists, for physicians to be aware of how these vaccines work. We've done everything for them. And for this to happen, we aren't essentially I don't have the resources to give you. As a mom, as parents, to not once hear your kid will be okay. I have not heard that. I am looking for that. I've been so many nights since Thursday trying to research, trying to find, and trying to find some type of comfort, because not one person has been able to tell me that my 5-year-old, at 5 years old, at 10, she'll be okay. At 15, she'll be okay. She is 5, and I have no idea what's going on inside of her body.
No.
I'm just looking at my 5-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old sister, and I'm looking at them and seeing them every day. And I saw you Thursday before this happened. And I saw you hours before this happened. And to see you now, and they are not the same. My 5-year-old just flat out said, I don't want to eat. I don't want to. I don't want to eat.
I can't taste it.
I can't taste it. I can't
Smells
smell
funny.
it.
I don't want it.
A sheer panic attack at the dinner table because I'm looking at something that I know how it should taste, and it's in my mouth, and I don't taste that.
Their favorite things, we fix them. I don't want it. It smells funny. I can't eat that. I can't taste that. You can't taste it? Well, when will your taste come back? No one can tell us that.
And then to just barely take 2 bites after we've done a parade around the table, just to get them to take 2 bites.
Yes.
My stomach hurts. Or you're in the middle of the night and she's sweating like
Profusely.
she's ran a marathon.
Yes.
She's got night sweats. She's got vivid, almost nightmares. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell her what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
They're extremely irritable.
Extremely
irritable.
Right.
Yeah. For
because
no
they
reason.
can't tell us.
That's cold-blooded, man. HEB, man, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Everybody that worked for HEB should be ashamed. Anybody that retired from HEB should be ashamed. You should, man, like this is totally and not just it's not just a shame, but it should be embarrassing to anybody who's associated with them.
Absolutely.
To treat the loved ones of people who was under your care where you actually dropped the ball and you caused so much pain and distress, you know, and to have that attitude where you just, like just basically discarding them like they're nothing. They need to be brought to heel. And I'm gonna tell you something, y'all did a good job of reaching out to Adia, because this is the type of person that you need when you're fighting these big, these pharmaceutical companies. These are the type of people you need when you're fighting people. And the doc will tell you, these type of people you got to have when you're fighting people in this medical world, because they got long paper, and they got those forms that you have to fill out in advance that says, if anything happens, hey, it ain't our fault.
They've already tried that.
They tried that
not 24 hours later.
Right.
The director that we spoke with of HEB, her name was Susan Rector. She was one of the leads, and she also had the very dismissive. I'm just trying to investigate. I mean, what more do you want from me? I'm trying to give you some research and resources. One of the resources that she gave us was the no-fault COVID compensation phone number. Just call this phone number. I said, who is this to? I mean, I don't know. They'll answer some questions for you. And I mean, you could just call. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to help you do some research. So I said, what are we researching? You've administered to them the wrong dosage of God knows what. What am I researching? What else am I to be looking for? You're just throwing up phone numbers at me for what?
And she was also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So when you have a client that come to you and say, I suspect malpractice was committed here, but they've signed this form that basically relieves the hospital of any type of liability, even if they're wrong. I guess it's hard. It's just very difficult to prove wrong. I mean, how does that work out? How do you reconcile that?
Yeah, just like any other contract, it's not impenetrable. We have something that certain things can't be waived. And then there's certain things that can be consented to and that can't be consented to. Of course, it depends on the language. But again, none of these things are impenetrable. Nothing is 100%. When Miss Swain brought the two little girls to get their the vaccination booster shots, that's what they were expecting to get at the proper dosage. They never consented to being overdosed. They never consented to receiving adult dosages. They never consented to any of that. So it's based on the language, what was consented to, what was mutually agreed upon. And here there clearly was it was not mutually agreed upon that these little girls would receive an adult dosage. When they brought their daughters, the daughter and the granddaughter there, they were brought under the terms that they would get the child dose of the booster, and that's not what they received. So again, to answer your question, waivers are not impenetrable. That's why we see many people that get sued all the time, from signing away waivers to get on rides, signing away waivers to participate in different things. But it has to be mutually agreed upon, and that's not what we have here.
So you can't basically give them a pass on negligence.
No, not at all. Absolutely. And actually, you hit it right on the head. That is what it is. Negligent retention supervision. It was negligent administration of the drug. And then even a step further, we can take it to an intentional level, which we do intend to do, which is offensive touching. That was not something that was agreed upon. It was an intentional action. It's not like somebody tripped and accidentally injected these young girls with these medications. It was very intentional, and we'll go from there and let the court decide. And that's how we're going to approach it. So.
Yeah, it's really there's a lot number that Pfizer asked us for that they were able to pull up because they were vaccinated before. So this was the booster. And all of the lot numbers checked out through Pfizer. The lot number that the pharmacies put on the information, the form that we had, Pfizer couldn't even locate it. So what did you give our children?
See, I bet you $1 to a donut. The folks over there at HEB, even their lawyers, they're sitting back and they're thinking about this case now, and they're thinking about who they're dealing with.
Yeah,
and they know they have a fight on their hands. That's why they skipped over in-house counsel, who they pay millions of dollars to every year to represent them.
Absolutely.
To somebody else who they feel like, can help them fight this battle. Because I'm going to tell you, they're going to need a whole lot of help.
They absolutely will.
They was not counting on Doc. No. They weren't counting on Doc. See?
No, they weren't.
No.
That messed them up right there.
Yeah.
Listening to the some of the clips, a couple of the clips, I got right away that even though they knew that they had messed up, they stood on that attitude anyway. They was just so damn arrogant.
That's arrogant.
Beyond arrogance. To have stood there and you, in my mind, I'm thinking, I know this would not have happened to a white child. You cannot tell me that you would have sent the black student in to inject the white kid. There's no way. And then dismiss them?
Oh, and unsupervised. And unsupervised.
Unsupervised.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We assumed that he was going to do the right thing.
Yeah, that was
You assume?
that was the verbiage that's used on the audio that we assumed. The pharmacist, her name is Pam. She was the on duty. She was supposed to be the on duty pharmacist. She flat out told me she left. She wasn't even on her post. So she left.
Yeah, obviously they're going to have to stroke a fat check, definitely. But beyond that, what would you guys like to happen?
Well, let me just tell you what I'd like to happen. And I don't like to go against colleagues, but at this particular point, because of the dismissiveness and the matter of fact and the blase attitude from licensed professionals, they need to be reprimanded by the state board as well, because that was uncalled for. I would have had everything in the world snatched from me if I would have sent a medical student in, and that medical student made a mistake and I tried to cover for the mistake, I would have had everything snatched from me because it's unethical, it's unprofessional, and the list goes on and on. So that's what I feel like needs to be done. But then not only that, personally, I feel that HEB as a whole needs to be held accountable simply because I personally talked to the store manager, I talked to the store director, I talked to their resolve person, what is she called, Susan? What is?
She's a risk and incident.
Yeah, I went all the way up the chain, and again, no one felt as though HEB on all levels was responsible for this. So I feel like HEB from the top all the way down to the last person that I spoke with needs to have some type of accountability. Absolutely. Because I'm not, it's not about money. It's not about reputation. I'm just looking at the lives of my children, because you can get money back. Reputation can eventually be improved, but you can't give a life back. You can't get a life back. So I just feel, and I'm not even that type of person, Willie. I'm not even a harsh type person. But at this particular point, because you cared less about mine, I don't care anything about yours.
Right.
And so HEB to me is non-existent.
Absolutely.
And everybody that's involved.
Absolutely.
So that's me.
And for me, what I would like to see is the reason why I posted this, and I started posting the story on my social media because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how else to get help.
Right.
I didn't know who to turn to for help at that point. I didn't know what else to do, but I knew that I was pleading with social media. Somebody get me someone to talk to, help me, please. Yes. This is what's happening to my children. And for me, what I would like to see is, especially in our culture and millennials and different age groups, to fully understand the systematic injustice that African Americans are facing outside of police brutality, but in the medical field. From African American women for their mortality rates, giving birth, we are in a fight that we are being ignored. We are in a losing battle. And I didn't even realize that I was in that fight until I'm begging you and asking you, what did you give my child? And you won't answer. I would like to see us, and I want this to have so much light shined upon it, because like you said, Willie, how many more of my babies, how many more of our babies are out there that the parents didn't know what to do.
Absolutely.
And they had nobody to ask, and they didn't know who to turn to, and they don't have social media access. But we have to understand that this is where our voice matters. This is where it counts. And like I said on my social media, I will fight forever for my babies. I will fight forever for them until it is no more. I will fight forever for them, because this is inhumane. This isn't right. And I will not stand until someone is held accountable for this, until this light is shined upon, no matter what it costs. But we have to understand that this is where we matter, and we have to stand together. And I want this to be blown up so big to where we understand, because that is why African Americans are so hesitant on trusting doctors and so hesitant in going to get medicine, because they do things like this to us. And we have to stand up and say, no, this is not okay. This is not okay, HEB. You will not do Grayson and Mila like this. This is not okay. You won't do the next parents like this, because this right here is going to catapult a change. And I am passionate about it, because I could have lost my everything.
Absolutely.
I could have, and I don't ever want any other mother to feel like I feel today. They failed my children. I am carrying that. They failed them. And I don't ever want anybody else to feel the immense and overwhelming amount of stress and worry that I have on my back for simply just trying to do what our government said we should do to keep our children safe.
There you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go to the comments, with a couple comments real quick. Joyce Bishop says, if Pfizer couldn't locate the lot number, then where did the batch come from?
That's information that we will uncover once we file the lawsuit. They will have to turn over that information, their internal reports, the batch number. It seemed like some information was scribbled over by the HEB pharmacist. That was originally there was some pre-printed information as far as the batch numbers. Somebody from the pharmacy scribbled over it, and that number that was scribbled over, the number that subsequently replaced it, was the number that was not appearing as a batch number under Pfizer. So we will get answers. We will find out what the core of the issue was, what the documentation states, what they put in their internal report, that they were so heavily guarding against these parents who were deserving of that information. So
Toda Ya says, please tell them to take the kids to a doctor and get them checked for blood clots in the leg, lung, and heart.
Yes.
So what steps have you guys taken? I know you said you took them to the hospital.
We took them, we did. Emergency room
And
first, and also to their pediatrician, who has known them since they came from the womb, literally, all of them.
They did
And
examination and found
she did a full examination, and she picked up right as soon as she saw them. She said, "This isn't their normal behavior." She knew it
Right off the top.
right off the bat because she knows them.
Yeah.
But
And I
And
was
this isn't normal behavior.
I was there with them, and so I witnessed from physician to physician. She did from head to toe. She did the whole full gamut. So for your caller or the person who asked the question, we've already taken that step.
And she's sending them to an immunologist. We have an appointment with them the end of the week. And also, she wants to follow up with them next week and once a week because it changes. And she said we have to monitor them closely, so I need to see them every week.
And I'm thankful that I'm here to be able to keep an eye on them as well. But they will be following up. I mean, very, very cyclic with their pediatrician.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you, India, Tara, and Dr. Kara.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us. Thank you.
Thank you to, I want to thank everybody on social media that came to my page that gave me an amazing blessing of an attorney. Thank you all so much for everyone who is tagging. Please share because we don't want to be in this race alone.
No.
Our babies are in the forefront, but we don't want to be in this race alone.
No.
So thank you all to everyone.
Yes, Adia, you are an amazing blessing to us. That next 24 hours, I got in the car. We were so discouraged. You know, they shut us down, HEB. We were calling around Pfizer, CDC. And I got in the car and I had to run errands. And I said, you know what, God, you've got to send us someone because this just cannot be it for our children. We were at a loss.
And a great friend.
And here you are. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Willie, for picking our story up.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so
to bring
very much.
awareness. This cannot be the end for HEB. There are concerned parents out there, and I know this isn't the first time. I know it's not. I even asked the pharmacy student who administered it, is this your first time injecting children? He said, no, I do it all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you guys again for sharing your story. And I don't have to hope, but, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what level of justice you guys get out of this. I know
Absolutely.
you're going to get justice. But I do wish the girls well. They don't deserve
Thank you.
like this, and they deserve to have a full, healthy life. And what these people did to them was wrong, and I can't wait till justice comes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Fam, I'm gonna tell you something. This is type of stuff that goes on far too often, and but this is a perfect storm here for justice. This is a perfect storm. You have two little innocent black girls who went to the hospital or to the clinic to get to the pharmacy, to get their COVID vaccine boosters. And, the parents were doing what they thought was the responsible thing to do, being proactive and taking their kids to get the shot. And that's what they did. And then they get this, the kids end up getting injected with some unknown substance. For all we know, they got whatever they injected them with from the moon. We don't know what it is. We don't know what the hell they put in those girls. For all we know, that these girls came in and they were targeted as an experiment. We don't know because they won't give the family answers. There's a chance that it didn't even have to go this far if they had told the family what it was that they gave them, and then now that they can pinpoint how to fight it. They can come up with some type of remedy, but they don't know. So it's a wait and see situation, and they don't know. It's heartbreaking because I know how they must feel. Like not knowing if those babies are going to be all right, not knowing, like, since the kids 5-7 years old, all those years, as far as they knew, those kids were going to have normal lives, right? And then something like this happens, and then on top of that, insult to injury, you get these condescending, dismissive people who work for HEB, and they think it's business as usual. But oh no, they did not count on a doctor, not just a doctor, but a capable doctor, because all doctors ain't created equal. This one right here is on a different level. They was not expecting that. That they did not expect. They did not expect that they would lawyer up with an Artie Jones. I'll tell you something about Artie Jones. If I was going to war, under any circumstances, I'm putting Artie on my team because Artie is a winner. She is a fighter. She is a warrior. She is a soldier. And I know she ain't gonna sell me out. So yeah, they got problems. They got serious problems, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Family need to know they got me. I'm on your team, fam. I'm Team Carol. That's right. I'm Team Carol. So when it go down, however it go down, I'm right there. I'm gonna be right there the entire way. And I'm gonna send this off to a couple of my other buddies that's in the media, and we're gonna get this story all the way out there. And HEB, I know y'all thought y'all had a little old routine thing going on, but it's time to pay the piper. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, fam. Until next time, no more talk.
What the haters talking about?